A very good morning to all, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to all, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tom Grieve and I'll be taking us through the proceedings here today. Assisting in the crowd are the marketing agents. Many of you would have had the pleasure of meeting Jin Ling and Jenny Walker throughout the course of the campaign. Also assisting in the crowd, Karan Vagala and Andrew Prekop. Together we're representing Ray White Estate Agents, auctioneers and property managers of 77 Koonang Road in Carnegie. On behalf of the team at Ray White, but more importantly on behalf of our vendors here today, we'd just like to say a very quick thank you to you all for making it out here today, and to any of the interested buyers, all the very best of luck with your bidding. Now, today's auction will be conducted in accordance with the rules and any additional conditions that were made available for inspection before the start of today's auction. The auction rules prohibit an auctioneer from accepting bids or offers for the property after the property has been knocked down to the successful bidder. The vendors have a reserve price, and as the auctioneer will indicate bidders on request, the law prohibits false bids, prohibits any major disruptions by bidders, and prohibits bidders attempting to prevent others from bidding, and it does provide fines for this conduct. The rules do permit vendor bids, and the words we'll use during the auction to indicate we're making a bid on behalf of the vendor will very simply be vendor bid. And of course, by law, only I as the auctioneer today have the right to place that bid on behalf of the vendor. Attached to the contract of sale is section 32. This has been on display for the last half an hour or so. I know it's been sent out to a couple of people over the last few weeks as well. And if you have taken the time to read through it, you'll see it does confirm Ray White, as the vendor's estate agent here today, is selling what is formally described as Lot 163 on plan of subdivision 006430, of course more commonly known to yourself and I as 36 Moorookyle Avenue here in Hughesdale. In a moment's time, when I do call for your bidding, we'll be asking for a deposit equal to 10% of the purchase price, of which we'll get a down payment today, perhaps $5,000 or $10,000 paid into our trust account, and the balance of that 10% will be payable on the next business day, which is of course Monday. I know many of you might be taking the long weekend, but we'd be aiming on getting the remainder of that deposit paid into our trust account on Monday, nevertheless. Now, preferential settlement terms, 30, 45, 60 days time from today, unless of course something else has been arranged prior to having your bids taken here by either Jin or Jenny, or if there are any last minute changes to those terms that you do want to discuss, Jin's the man to go and have a chat with now, and he'll make sure he gets you the last minute authorisation before you get moving with making your bids. If you are a first-time auction attendee, there's no need to register in Victoria. You're welcome to just come out on your Saturday morning and go for a walk and buy a property. And if that is you and you do want to do that, all you've got to do is shout out your bid in a nice clear voice, or put your hand in the air. Nod of the head is fine, or the agents will be walking around in the crowd seeking any questions that you've got and being able to help with your bidding. The way that we'll be selling the property is by calling it down 3 times. On the first, second, third and final call, when the contract hits my hand, like so, the property will be sold. And at that point, ladies and gentlemen, no late bids can or will be accepted. So it's really important to make sure you get your bids in nice and early before the contract hits my hand. Now, if we do happen to fall short of the vendor's reserve price, let me just remind you it'll be the highest bidder and the highest bidder only that will be invited inside to exclusively negotiate and hopefully buy the property in a few moments' time. I might also add that in over 80% of the instances that we do pass in a property on a genuine bid, it goes on to sell to that buyer in post-auction negotiation. So an incredibly strong position to put yourself in, irrespective of whether or not the property is declared on the market. You must have the highest bid if you do want to try and buy this property here today. So folks, that's the formalities there, the auction rules in place to protect with your bidding and to help you hopefully buy what really is a great opportunity here. Nice sprawling frontage across the front here, decent depth on the block as well. It's an unreal parcel of land here. There's no major easements or encumbrance or anything that's going to prevent you from doing what you want to do in the future. No overlays or anything that's going to restrict you from knocking the house down, but a really substantial single home site, or if you do want to go for a front and rear, as so many people in the area do, it's quite a common thing as well. And it'll be a great block to do that sort of dual occupancy subject to council approval. Some 760 odd square metres of prime Hughesdale land going into the property. I'm sure it'll meet minimum standards for a rental straight away without needing to do any work. Obviously got the heating in there, the floors have been nicely polished recently, it's been given a fresh coat of paint, it's ready for somebody to move in and enjoy exactly as it is, or ready for somebody to come in and give it that new lease on life and really take it to the next level. We've seen what incredibly well renovated homes are selling for in the area. Just the other week, Jin and I had a property, and Jenny, in Bowmore Street in Hughesdale, just around the corner. 590 or 580 odd square metres, selling for in excess of $2.1 million. So there's a lot of room to play around with. If you're buying a home in this area on 760 odd square metres, imagine what it's going to be worth at the other end if you do a substantial renovation to it. It's a really great opportunity for one lucky buyer here today. These streets, beautifully tree-lined streets, conveniently located, Hughesdale Primary School at one end of the street, Oakley Central essentially at the other end of the street, almost within walking distance from where we stand here today. Or alternatively, make your way up to Hughesdale Station, Chadstone Shopping Centre, the list goes on. There really is just a range of local amenities to see you through here, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's Argyle Reserve, obviously at the other end of the street as well. It's a really nice place to get out and about, or a really family-centred location and part of the suburb. So buyers, what is happening in the market? Everybody wants to know. 1,000 plus auctions in Melbourne last week. That would have been considered a super Saturday by any market standard, ladies and gents. Even in 21, a busy weekend was only 1,000 auctions per week. We saw that clearance was on the day about 65 odd %. And to give you an idea, this time last year it was about 75%. So is the market crumbling? Is the world falling? I'm not seeing it, ladies and gentlemen. As much as the media might try and sell you that story, a lot of us will tell you it's actually getting quite easy to sell properties once more. There's competition in the market. There's buyers coming back in force. Listings are picking up. I think people are seeing that interest rates have gone up. Prices have come down a little bit, and it's actually a really opportune time to come out and buy something perhaps a little bit cheaper than you might have done so just 12 months ago. So ladies and gentlemen, now is the time to be getting yourself into the market and getting one of these fantastic properties. So with that, we're going to put it across to you now. 36 Moorookyle Avenue in Hughesdale. In your hands, ladies and gentlemen. Who'd like to bid us away here today for a fair, reasonable start? Don't mind the start. Happy to place a vendor bid if I need to. In your hands, buyers. Suggest a start perhaps around $1.4 million. 1.4 do we say? Happy to place a vendor bid there if I need to, but then you will have to bid on top of me. Alternatively, you can bid now on your own terms. 1.4 can I suggest? Well, with that, I will place a vendor bid. My bid, $1.4 million a bid now. We're away. I'll call for a 20 from there. At $1.4 million a bid now, looking for a rise at 20. At $1.4 million, bid with me, vendor bid, calling for a rise at $20,000 from there. 1.42 can we say buyers. At $1,400,000 a bid, I'll call it down 3 times. At $1.4 million a bid now with me, call for a rise at 20 if you'd like to go buyers. First call now, $1.4 million a bid. Second call, $1.4 million. Third and final call, $1.4 million my bid at the moment. Surely not buyers. At $1.4 million, exceptional buying opportunity for one lucky buyer here today. Let me remind you what happens if there's no...
It's on 1.42.
1.42. Welcome to the bidding. Best of luck to you. $1,420,000. We're away. We'll call for a 20 from there. At 1.42 the bid now. Do we say 1,440? At $1,420,000 unbid. At 1.42 the bid. Call it down 3 times at $1,420,000. Looking for a rise at 20 from here at 1.42 I've got. First time now, $1,420,000. Second time, 1.42. Third call now at 1.42 the bid. Do we say 440 buyers? 1,420,000 bids on my left here at 1.42. Last opportunity for you all at 1,420,000 the bid. First time now, 1.42. Second time, 1.42. Third call now, at 1.42 the bid. All done, all silent, all finished, at 1.42 the bid. Well buyers, I might just give you all a quick moment to think about it. We'll quickly have a chat with our vendor. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. At $1,420,000, we're dealing exclusively with the highest bidder at this stage of the auction. So what that means, if there's no further bidder advance, the property will pass into the bidders on my left here, and they'll be given the exclusive right of refusal to negotiate on this property. There won't be another vendor bid from me here today. So what that means is if anybody wants to bid on top of them, you're only going to be competing with the crowd here today. You won't be competing with me. At $1,420,000, there's your competition buyers. At 1.42, we'll call it down 3 last times and we're done. If you have come here to try and buy the property, now is the time to speak. Because in a moment's time, the property will pass into the highest bidder and they'll be the only one that we're allowed to deal with. And statistically, of course, about an 80% chance of them buying the property here today. $1,420,000 the bid. Call it down 3 last times and we're done. At $1,420,000 the bid. Do we go for a rise of 20 from here to 440 buyers? At 1.42 the bid. First time now, $1,420,000. Second time, $1,420,000. Third call now, at 1.42 the bid. All done. 142 the bid. I'll give Andrew that moment just to consult some instructions. $1,420,000, last opportunity. Happy to take a 10 if that helps you there, Andrew. At $1,420,000 the bid. Do we say 430? At 420 I've got here on my left. Happy to go in 10s if that helps you stay in. And at $1,420,000 the bid now. Bidding for the first right of refusal at this stage. At $1,420,000 a bid. Last chance for you all out of respect to the highest bidder at $1,420,000. Happy to take a $10,000 rise. First time now, $1,420,000 on bid. Second time, $1,420,000. For the third and final call, at 1.42 the bid. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the highest bidder. We'll formally pass the property in, $1,420,000 the bid. We'll look forward to negotiating a sale in a few moments' time. Thank you very much for your attendance today. Have a great day.